Hello, good morning. You're welcome. This is GHToday News. My name is Sewamia. Thank you for tuning in. Let's take a look at our headlines. Northern Regional Minister commits to end long-standing water crisis in the northern region following GH1 News' Water Forum after 6 reports from up north show just how thirsty communities are. Speaker of Parliament says government will not bow to any kind of pressure to legalize the touchy subject of homosexuality. And also coming up, a Nissan Amera bent down to ashes on the Shiashi Road, Legon, due to what hawkers claim to be a late response from the Ghana National Fire Service. We bring you business and international news. Don't forget, we're live on DSTV channel 361 and GoTV channel 179, and we're streaming on Facebook as well. And our very first story, Northern Regional Minister Salifu Said has indicated to resolve the end to the long-standing water crisis in the northern region through a synergy with local authorities and development partners. According to Salifu Said, it is disheartening to see several communities in the region survive daily on dirty water due to the absence of potable water. The minister made the remarks at GH1 TV's Portrait of the Countryside Forum, a platform to discuss and find potable water for thirsty communities in the northern regions.
The forum, which was necessitated by the 6-part series titled Portrait of the Countryside, brought together the Northern Regional Minister, Salifu Said, representatives of the Water and Sanitation Ministry, members of Parliament, representatives of MTN Ghana, and some stakeholders in the water, health and sanitation sector. Chief Executive Officer of the EIB Network, Nathan Kwabena Anochiedisi, said the organization will continue to promote and invest in solution-based journalism in order to bring relief to those in distress.
This is not going to be a talk shop. We are committed as a media house to follow up on this. And I believe we have a great team here. And we'd like to also salute Ridwan Karim for this great reportage together with the GH1 News. I think they deserve a round of applause. But Honorable Minister, you have our support. We want to assure you that, yes, together with the MPs, and I'm glad that we have the MP for Salaga here. I wish we had Ras Mubarak as well, and MP for Nanton. So 2 of our MPs are here. We're waiting for Ras Mubarak. This is no child's play. What we saw is heartbreaking.
Speaker after speaker took turns to comment on the water crisis in Vayele, Vagunda and Jegun and called for immediate steps to address it.
Why do you provide a water system that relies on ECG, which is never functional? That is a non-starter. There are so many other technologies, as World Vision just mentioned. If it has to be powered by solar, solar is only expensive if you look at the capital outlay at the beginning. Once you get that going, so many months of sunshine, it's practically free for them. And the time that we have little sunshine, then you go for what Kafui mentioned, rainwater harvesting. It's stored up and comes down through gravity, free.
This water that you see them drink, as far as I am concerned as a member of parliament, I would describe it as even a clean water for them. Around January, February, in fact, it's a hell for me. So to be very honest with you, the water problem situation in Nantong is a crisis.
In fact, we have a very low water table, and so we've tried severally to get boreholes to be able to solve that problem, which is non-existent.
Northern Regional Minister Salifu Said assured his office will do everything possible to change the narrative. He, however, called for all hands to be on deck to facilitate an effective drive for clean water in the northern region. The minister also disclosed plans to get all the assemblies and other development partners on board to work effectively at achieving water efficiency in the northern region.
Beyond this forum, I will want us to have a conversation beyond this, so that we see how we can translate this thing into full action and getting solutions to this problem. Apart from that, I will want to do more of those things, because we have a lot of those problems. And if we, the politicians, are talking, sometimes it doesn't get even much this, but institutions like yours talking about it, they take them as very serious matters.
On the issue of mobile network accessibility challenges in part of the region, Head of Planning at MTN Ghana, Victor Dodu, said the telecommunication giant is working on a comprehensive strategy to resolve it.
Within the next year, we are expecting at least 300 more of such rural locations to be covered. The challenge is we can't do that all alone. We need to work with GIFEC, as I indicated earlier. We need to work with the district assemblies in terms of permitting and all that. The earlier we get the permits and approvals to build, the easier or faster it is for us to help connect our brothers in the deprived areas.
Group Managing News Editor for the EIB network, Ayram Bashan, said the news team will continue to shine the light in the shadows and give voice to the voiceless.
Expanding the scope of the stories, interacting with the duty bearers that have the power to make changes. We want our stories not to just be sound bites on radio, on TV and online, but that at the end of the day we can see solutions, and I'm so excited. This, like Ridwan said, is solution-based journalism or advocacy journalism. I believe it has come to stay.
Meanwhile, an international NGO into the production of water purification machines, Vestergaard, has pledged support to the thirsty communities and has gone ahead to donate some water filtering equipment to reduce the amount of impurities residents consume every day.
Don't forget, we're still running a campaign with the hashtag Northern Lives Matter. Join the campaign and let's get government to resolve this situation in the northern regions. Now, it is considered as a taboo because of the country's cultural construct. Nonetheless, to some school of thought, the president's recent comment on homosexuality provides a leeway for people with that sexual orientation to stand up for their rights. William Evans Inkum has been engaging some gay rights activists who believe the country is only shying away from the reality. Let's watch the following report.
I, as president of this nation, will never initiate or support any attempts to legalize homosexuality in Ghana.
For as much as heterosexuals have their rights, so should gay people have their rights.
This can never happen in this country. Go away with this kind of thing.
In Ghana, just like many other heterogeneous societies, the issue of homosexuality is alien, although some practice privately. Lesbians, gays, bisexuals and transsexuals are considered outcasts in the Ghanaian society.
Christianity came with the homophobia, but as Africans and Ghanaians, we've never been homophobic. And so if we are trying to be African, maybe we should go back to how our ancestors were. And
are you saying that our ancestors were homosexuals?
No, I'm saying that our ancestors did not discriminate against people, homosexuals within the community.
What appears miles away from the country's human rights system perhaps looks kilometers closer, and the Humanist Association of Ghana believes the right of homosexuals will soon be accepted.
I'll say that I'm ready to support whichever governments, whichever bodies are there to promote the rights of gay people, for as much as they are Ghanaian citizens such as myself.
The president, in his Al Jazeera interview, said many things when asked about homosexuality, but it was the last comment that has got the country talking.
I think that it is something that is bound to happen.
Religious bodies in the country have frowned on homosexuality. The Christian Council has been an avid critic, taking apart the president's comments.
We have human rights, but have limitation. We must have boundaries. People are, some young people are bought their car, they want to drive whatever. You won't allow them. It's not like, but that's my car, leave me alone. We won't leave you alone.
Article 12, Clause 2 of the Constitution provides the fundamental human rights and freedom for all people in the country. However, Section 104 of the country's criminal code also states whoever has an unnatural carnal knowledge of any person of 16 years or over with his consent is guilty of a misdemeanor. To Prince Inshaba, an international human rights defender, people must be allowed to live their normal lives.
I just think that people should be allowed to live their lives to the full potential. Homosexuals are in a church, they are in a mosque, they are everywhere. And most times people look at the minute part of their lives and then focus on those areas.
But the General Secretary of the Christian Council of Ghana has warned that any politician that promotes homosexuality will be resisted.
Christianity or no Christianity, evil is evil. What is wrong is wrong. So we are not saying that Christianity has done what? Homosexuality was wrong pre-Christianity, now, and whatever. For us, marriage is a man and a woman.
Ghana is a sovereign state, but the economy is largely supported by foreign grants. Some of the conditions laid for the release of some of these grants border on human rights, which include the rights of the gay. But was the president saying the obvious? And will homosexuals be recognized in Ghana? Maybe. Time will tell.
Will homosexuality be recognized in Ghana? Well, the Speaker of Parliament, Professor Aaron Michael Quay, says no amount of momentum or public agitation will force Parliament to legalize homosexuality. This follows several reactions that have poured in, challenging government to state clearly its position on homosexuality after the president's interview with Al Jazeera. Professor Okoye remains optimistic that Ghanaians will not push to legalize homosexuality, even if the matter is brought before Parliament. The Speaker spoke exclusively to me.
But the President has not said the opposite. He said that he will yield to what the people of Ghana want. And of course, Parliament will also yield to what the people of Ghana want. But I said, Ghanaians, we have our culture. So we will not want that. We are Christians. We will not want that. We are Muslims. We will not want that. So where will it pass to come? That is my conclusion as a social scientist. But I hope you will see clearly the point I'm making. It's against Christian ideals. It's against Muslim principles. And it's also against our moral upbringing. So I don't see how that is going to happen. So don't tell me about ifs. I don't see it. If you see it, you can hold your view.
A lawsuit by the Soul family against Allied Fuel Station has been adjourned to February 6, 2018. The family sued the filling station for breach of their right to life and exposing them to respiratory and other health complications due to obnoxious smell of fuel from the station. The Soul family is demanding the immediate closure of the fuel station and is unhappy that the Accra Human Rights Circuit Court has adjourned the case. Della Michelle sets out to find details in the following report.
The Sowu family reside here and have done so for the past 30 years. According to them, life was peaceful with no anxiety of any form. But sadly, their lives took a tailspin after the sighting of the Allied fuel station in the year 2012. Their rooms are only 42 meters away from the fuel tankers.
The small little house was there, demolishing the house. So we said, what is happening here? Because no one had told us anything. And it got worse and worse. They uprooted the roots and flattened the whole place, you know. And then we heard some rumors that, oh, it's a petrol station, but we'd never been told, you see. So we were very annoyed. How can it be a petrol station?
Juna's daughter, Della Sow, told the news team that aside the disappointment of not being consulted by managers of the station before building the station, their health has been at a major risk as the home is constantly filled with insufferable smell of fuel whenever the station is discharging. This has been the situation for the past 4 years, and according to her, the last time there was such a smell in the house was on November 25th of 2017.
One day sitting down to eat my lunch, and then all of a sudden I'm swallowing petrol at the same time, and it permeated the whole house. My niece, my sister's child, she used to stay here too, but before I came she was also smelling the fume, but she got migraines, so she had to leave the house and go and rent another place to stay. I was also told by the Allied executive that, sometimes when businesses operate, they infringe on neighbors. So I should understand, and I said, I cannot understand this.
She showed us this forensic report authored by the Ghana Standard Authority, which clearly indicates that this salt sub fruit from their backyard is heavily contaminated. Della grieved about how she had appealed to the owner of Airlight Fuel Station, Dan Okujeto, National Petroleum Authority, and other stakeholders to come to their aid. Yet her appeal has fallen on deaf ears as no one has come to their rescue. She alleges that they are sometimes subjected to harsh comments from the Airlight Fuel Station managers.
There's been no action to our appeals. To the MPA, to the EPA, to Allied as a corporation. We need to find a solution to this poisoning of this thing. Nobody paid any mind. Cell manager told me that there are many plots in the cemetery. I can go and buy one if indeed the fumes are killing us.
The Sous are not the only family disturbed by this development. Their neighbor, Techiwa, who runs a preschool, LSU school in her home, says enrollment has dwindled as children under the ages of 5 years are at a huge risk due to the fumes from the station. Apprehensive parents have had to withdraw their wards from the school. So family made an appearance in court on Monday morning, where the case has been adjourned to February 6th of 2018. We went to the Airlight filling station to speak to the managers of the facility. The attendants told us the managers were absent and they also declined to speak to us.
A Nissan Salon car Monday afternoon burned to ashes on the Shiashi-Legon Road, and hawkers on the stretch are blaming the Ghana National Fire Service for their late response to the scene, which they say could have resulted in another gas explosion in the area. The hawkers claim it took the Ghana National Fire Service more than 30 minutes to get to the scene. On the Shiashi Road that leads to the Legon University. This Nissan Amera with registration number GC254110 has just been burning, and residents here, or the hawkers on the street here, are expressing fear as just right opposite it is a fuel station, and so they are scared of a possible gas explosion. Don't forget, the country experienced a horrific gas explosion some few weeks ago, and so these residents are here. But however, the owner of the vehicle has stressed that he has kept on or called the fire service a few times, but to no avail. So we're just going to stand here and watch how this car burns to ashes without affecting the residents or the hawkers here. The owner of the vehicle narrated how it all happened.
So when I just got here, just after the traffic light, I just saw fumes coming out from the engine. So I just veered up the road and I just got out. The most important thing is life here. Once I have life, this is nothing.
He told GH1 News that a timely intervention from the fire service could have salvaged the situation.
If they are really close, then they could have done something. But with what has happened, I don't think anything can be done.
Okay. After about 30 minutes of waiting, the fire service showed up, but it was too late. The head of the Legon branch division, who spoke with the media, debunked the hawkers' claims and said they got to the scene 5 minutes after receiving the distress call.
Immediately we receive a call that there's an outbreak of fire. We organize the men and then we immediately rush in. In fact, we had the call around, it's about some 30 minutes ago, and within about 5 to 10 minutes we have to be here. It could be that he didn't call directly to our office, he called somewhere else. That's the more reason why. Because immediately, there are different stages. We have the FMC, probably he might call through the FMC. Then they intend give us the call here so that we can come down to the fire scene. So I think that's how the whole thing happened. But I don't think from Legon campus to this place, we are going to take about 30 minutes. No, it's impossible.
But the hawkers, in a quick rebuttal, said the fire service was lying.
5 minutes on Bedua, 5 minutes. Kay Gato Mumuni Kay Toho, and I'm for pure water, Bruce Kay, Ubiama, Sisia Kay, the Ria, and Afin on Bars on Beduja. Madam, Obwa, me yet more share free station. You're from 30 minutes, Meme Boss. I know General, I know Frey, some Banner be better as you, as some more, Meme say, make more share. We are here 20 minutes, you call that you do refuse to come. Then the cab definitely now before they are coming. That is no good.
Let's move to other parts of the country. Over 400 heavy trucks and buses, as well as commuters, are stranded. This follows the closure of Bupe and Yepe bridges in the northern region. The trucks and commuters are trying to cross the Volta Lake to Yeji in the Bono Ahafo region to Mankango in the northern region.
Following the closure of the Bupe and Yape bridges in the northern region, many travelers have diverted their routes through Yeji but have been stranded for days. The only ferry at Yeji, MV Akrada, is unable to ferry many vehicles at a go. The ferry also does not work at night. This has created a messy situation as several vehicles and commuters have been stranded for days. Efforts to speak to some of the operators have proved futile. The situation is unfortunately becoming chaotic as some drivers have been there close to 5 days. A few stranded drivers who spoke to GH1 News are calling on government to, as a matter of urgency, find a solution to the problem at Yeji.
I am on a trip to Bolgatanga to supervise students there. I've been here since Friday and I've not been able to cross Mankango. I'm very close to the ferry. My car is very close to the ferry, but I'm not certain of when actually I would get into the ferry. They will come and tell us that they will bring a new pontoon so that to come and help this one. But up to now, we have not heard anything about it.
And right now, we are traveling to Tamale.
Okay.
But due to some insufficient pontoon around here, we have been here for 4 days now. And we are begging the road minister to do us a help by bringing. They say there's another boat at Akusumu called Crane. So we want them to bring that boat so that to help us to move here fast.
The Ghana Highways Authority in September 2017 set load limits for vehicles plying the Kintampo-Tamale Trunk Road to save the bridges from further deterioration. Only vehicles weighing 20 tons were allowed to cross the bridge. The statement, however, gave alternative routes to be used by drivers while the bridges remain closed. However, the Ghana Highways Authority on Monday, November 20, 2017, closed down the Bupe and Yape bridges in the northern region because the bridge has become a threat to motorists and pedestrians.
It is quite difficult living in a community that lacks basic social amenities. But the situation is more frustrating when a community cannot turn to any authority in its quest to demand construction of roads or provision of other social amenities. That's the case of Chintozongo, a community located in the Ga-West municipality of the Greater Accra region and in Sawam in the eastern region. There's more in this report filed by Nabil Ahmed Rufai.
This is Chintozongo, a community battling to get basic social amenities because residents here are not sure whether they belong to the Eastern region or the Gawest municipality of the Greater Accra region. Chintozongo is located near Papase in the Gawest municipality of the Greater Accra region and close to Nsawam in the Eastern region. That's the dilemma about this community as residents grapple to get potable water, construction of roads and other social amenities. Yao Sapon is a driver who is forced to use this deplorable road every day to commute passengers to and from the community.
Because if we tinto neba abasako papa sana untime mfopopo no because kritos no enye ntime mfopopo no yiza okon if efa medie ansa no wetima abasana ko papa ntimbe aban be boya no wetima ya maya keni beje ho.
Yao tells GH1 News he now has to use other alternative routes to commute passengers to Chintozongo, a situation which puts more pressure on the vehicle's fuel consumption and maintenance. Chintozongo does not only lack good roads, there is no connection to pipe-borne water here, and residents have to resort to wells. Community leader Yasser Sa links the underdevelopment to the difficulty in affiliating the community to either the Eastern or Greater Accra region. The community does not even have an assemblyman.
We don't have a public toilet here, and then people will be doing the going to the toilet around, and it's not nice, especially the visitors. And then our health facilities, we don't have any clinic. In case of a little sickness or something like snake might bite somebody, and unless you send him at the Nsawam hospital, and it's or Amasaman. It's very serious, and we need to do a very hard work about it.
Yasser says residents of Chintozongo are split between the two regions as one faction votes in Papase while the other votes in Nsawam during election period.
Right now, no, we are fighting from Eastern region here, as I'm here now, under Nsawam, Eastern region, right? So that is where we are pleading. So I think they too will fight from the Gan West, because if it comes, we all will share together. Yeah.
In the midst of the confusion regarding which region Chintozongo should fall under, residents say they prefer to be affiliated to the Eastern region than the Greater Accra region. But should the decision of which region Chintozongo falls under be left to the residents? Nabil Ahmed Rufai, GH1 News.
Let's now go for our business stories. Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Ernest Addison, has announced the reduction of the policy rate by 100% basis point to 20%. This dip, which is the fourth in 2017 alone, implies the cost of borrowing among banks has been reduced. Dr. Anderson cited a drop in consumer inflation and the possibility of steady economic growth as major reason for the cuts in interest rate.
Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Ernest Addison, said Ghana's economic indicators remain strong. He added that government is likely to achieve its medium-term inflation objective of ±8. He explained inflation remains subdued because of the new measures put in place to curb any hikes. Dr. Ernest Addison added there were indications that Ghana's oil-induced growth was gaining momentum, while the lower non-oil growth remains a concern, one that may require additional impetus to boost growth.
Recent developments, such as the implementation of growth-enhancing government policy initiatives, positive sentiment from businesses and consumers, as well as improvements in electricity supply, are supportive of non-oil growth. These notwithstanding, slower private sector credit expansion and tightening credit stance on enterprises could dampen the growth momentum. Under the circumstances, the committee decided to reduce the policy rate by 100 basis points to 20%.
An economic analyst with Databank, Kingsley Marty, said weaknesses in the local currency within the last few weeks could erode the gains achieved within the last 10 months. He, however, applauded the government for maintaining fiscal stability between January and November, calling for a pragmatic policy approach to end the year on a positive note.
There is an external, shock. That there are growing expectations that by December this year, the U.S. monetary authorities could increase their interest rates, and once that happens, it has implications for allocation of funds towards emerging markets, and that tends to distort currency stability. So immediately, I think what the central bank and the authorities will have to be doing is to see how they can mitigate the pass-through to our currency and ensure that our CD remains stable beyond the shift in the U.S. monetary policy stance.
The policy rate is indicative of the rate at which the banks borrow amongst themselves and from the central bank. 100 basis points dip in this rate could infer a marginal reduction in the lending rate in consumer loans.
President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has charged a new 9-member governing board of the Public Utility Regulatory Commission to elevate the work of the commission beyond the review of utility tariffs. According to the president, the PURC must concentrate on the delivery of quality service as well as the protection of the Ghanaian people.
Do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
Do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
That I will not directly or indirectly.
That I will not directly or indirectly.
Addressing the board after administering the official oath and the oath of secrecy, President Akufo-Addo said the board must be ready to work to protect the interests of the people. He charged the board to sanction service providers who fail to meet required standards.
It would appear that the other functions, primarily to do with the protection of the interests of the consumer and the delivery of quality service by utility providers, have been largely shirked by the PURC. This perception can no longer be allowed to fester. It must change.
The chairman of the governing board of the PURC, Michael Opam, in his response to the president, assured the board will lead the regulation of the utility sector in the country.
We will strive to deliver services which are comparable to the best in the world, being guided by international best practices in the governance and operations of the Commission. We are aware of the fact that regulatory success hinges not only on assertiveness of the regulator, but cooperation from all stakeholders, including government, as well as a vibrant civil society, working together to ensure that public and investor expectations are met.
Let's take a look at the weather for the next 24 hours. And that's all we have for you on GH Today News. My name is Sewamia. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, we're live on DSTV channel 361 and GoTV channel 179 and always streaming on Facebook. Thank you for watching. The news team is back at 11:30 with more news.
Bambini Funfair, Kitty Booms and Kitty Bums. Bambini Show presents the biggest official kids party ever to hit Accra. The Bambini Funfair. Kids, pick yourself up, dust your shoes off for 2nd December. It is going to be the best you've ever had. We are going to win.
We'll do better more than other schools.
You can't afford to miss our bouncy castle, face painting, horse riding, and other fun games in stock to entertain you. There will be a dancing competition, fashion show, rap battle, poetry recitals, choreography, talent hunt, and many more. Wait, 5 Ghana cedis per child. Mummies, daddies, aunties, uncles, it is free for you all. Bambini Funfair is proudly brought to you by
The Bank, the Pan-African Bank.
Nappy snacks, and
Yummy instant noodles for us.
Each place, our utmost priority.
It's Big Go, the new big thing.
And powered by Boss Media Production.
One big stage, over 40,000 fans. The lights, the sound, and the cheers. It's more than music. It's an experience. More than a concert. It's a gathering of stars. Shatta Wale, Stonebwoy, Samini, Ebony, Fancy Gadam, Gift Yourself, Kitty, Wami Eugene, Lil Wayne, DJ Viroski, DJ Lord, and DJ Mono live in concert.
Say you love me.
The venue, the Ghana Post GPS, GA 1118662. Download the app and locate the venue. That's GA 1118662. 1st December 2017. Come experience music like you've never been before. For a cool 10 Ghana cedis only. The gates open from 6 p.m. sharp. Concert is powered by Star 103.5 FM with support from Storm Energy Drink, Power Papa, Expert Savings and Loans, Ghana Post GPS, Accra City Hotel, Hotel Limited, the media partners, Live FM, GH1 TV, Ago TV, Kasapa FM, Daily Heritage, Ago FM, Ultimate FM, Ebusia FM, and Empire FM. The S Concert, Neon Edition, a night with the real stars.
So what's the source of funding for the film?
We have paid first step. Okay. So if there was no money, how did we pay? If you started it and we are continuing, then it behoves for you to have produced a policy document, right? Yes.
Is there one? Have you seen one?
There's none. Can you give me a copy of your curriculum?
Right.
Oh, when Professor Adam Mohammed did his educational commission, the next one was to do the curriculum. And we've never been given money to do it from 2009 to date.
So there is no curriculum?
There is no curriculum. I'm exposing the rot they left. Why would it attack me?
This Tuesday on State of Affairs, the Minister of Education, Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh, sits with host Nanaba Namwa to discuss the free senior high school policy and other issues of concern in the education sector. Make a date at 8:30 on Tuesday evening.
It's the Bambini Funfair, Kitty Booms and Kitty Bums. Bambini Show presents the biggest official kids party ever to hit Accra. The Bambini Funfair. Kids, pick yourself up, dust your shoes off for 2nd December. It is going to be the best you've ever had.
We are going to win. We'll do better more than other schools.
You can't afford to miss our bouncy castle, face painting, horse riding, and other fun games in stock to entertain you. There will be a dancing competition, fashion show, rap battle, poetry recitals, choreography, talent hunt, and many more. Wait, 5 Ghana cedis per child. Mummies, daddies, aunties, uncles, it is free for you all. Bambini Funfair is proudly brought to you by
The Bank, the Pan-African Bank.
Nappy snacks, and
Yummy instant